Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Redeemed Marriage Podcast. Rusty and Heather Bryant back with you. And if you're not watching on YouTube, go there right now.
Why?
Because I am rocking the brand.
Yeah, you
today.
are.
This was not planned.
It
because
wasn't.
We were not planning to record our podcast.
We're recording a little earlier than we normally do.
Yep. So if you go to our YouTube channel, we are The Redeemed Marriage. You can find us on YouTube. And we do other things besides just our video podcast, but mostly our video. We show our podcast on video, and so you can see what we look like. If you've never seen us before, we're really nice-looking people.
Speak for yourself.
And wait, what? No. Wait,
I was giving you a compliment. Speak for yourself.
No, I meant you. Anyway, I'm really rocking the brand today.
Yeah, you are.
So I have on my Redeemed shirt. See, we have merch. So if you want that, yes. And Heather does have Redeemed on. Did you write that on your arm for this?
Yeah, just for this. Yep, just for this.
And then I also have my brand new hat that Heather gave me for Father's Day, and it says, "Hello, folks."
Yeah, it does. And you know what's great about this? Yes, I ordered it. Yes, I surprised you for Father's Day. But actually, one of our listeners recommended that I get you that hat.
That's cool.
And it's like a, like you can't go order one. Well, you can, but it's just a hat company that'll engrave whatever you want to on the little thing. So I had them put "Hello, folks."
But I walked in. We had dinner at our pastor's house tonight, and I walked in, and he had on our Redeemed Marriage hat. And we were like, man, we are just rocking the brand today.
That's right. So
anyway, if you've never seen all of our fun stuff like that, then go to our YouTube channel.
Or if you don't know what we look like.
Yep. So we're going to do summer shorts. Go ahead.
Summer shorts, do 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 do. Summer shorts, do 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 do. Summer shorts, do 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 do. Summer shorts.
Why do we do that?
I don't know.
Isn't that the Baby Shark song?
Yes, but I don't know. I started it last year. And
Is Baby Shark still a thing?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's not like they've taken it off the radio.
It's not banned. It should be good.
But I don't think it's as big of a deal.
Wait, was it on the radio? You just said it's on the radio. Did you know that my car, I've had my truck for 2 years and I've never turned the radio on?
I've had my car for 3 years and I've never turned the radio on. I've never turned the radio on. Oh, I take that back. We listened to an Ole Miss basketball game one time.
Well, that's why I realized my radio doesn't work, because I turned it on and tried to listen to an Ole Miss football game when I was driving somewhere, and I just wanted to hear the halftime stats and stuff. It didn't work.
Yeah.
But
mine works. I've just never turned it on.
Well, my truck is old. But anyway, and it's because we just listen to podcasts all the time. We just listen to the Redeemed Marriage Podcast all the time.
You listen to podcasts. I listen to worship
music. Well, I hope all of our people out there, you're just listening to the Redeemed Marriage all the time. And so you don't need a radio. And also, hey, while we're at it, why don't you guys just do us a favor and share our podcast with a friend? It doesn't mean that your marriage is in trouble or you're in some sort of disaster mode to share it with a friend. We have good stuff on here that doesn't necessarily.
All you have to say is this marriage podcast is an encouragement to me. So check it out. Not like I think that my marriage is failing, or your marriage looks like it's screwed. So listen to this.
Hey, y'all look like y'all are having problems. Listen to this marriage.
Check this out.
Podcast. All right. So anyway, help us out there. We because you're our best marketing.
We are
for sure.
Now that we're
not we are. They are.
You are. We, however, are 4.5 minutes into
our
this
summer
podcast.
short. It's okay. Let's go.
I can't say podcast today. I said
Get
podcast. So what we're doing is summer shorts. We're doing just a quick answer because we want to be respectful of your guys' time.
Oh my goodness, we are having some kind of trouble today with words.
This is why
it's been a long week.
This is why Rusty leads the way on podcasts.
Hey, how did your phone just do that? It changed, like it's not bright; it's like dark now.
Because it's nighttime.
Mine doesn't do that.
It's just a setting.
Okay.
It
Anyway,
goes to
hey, read the question. Let's go.
All right, here we go. We are 9 months post D-Day. So if you haven't listened to us before, sometimes we call it D-Day, day of confession, day of being caught in some type of infidelity or mistrust.
Hey, what? Actually, I'm being real serious here. I don't ever call it that because I don't really know what that means. What is
I don't
that?
either.
Is it? I mean, what would the Discovery Day maybe? I don't know. We should figure that out because people write all the time,
D-Day.
and we know what you're talking about
Yeah.
because we had a D-Day too. We just don't know what it means.
Is there a D-Day in history?
Yes, but let's not get into history. That's the last thing you need to try to talk about on
You
this
want to tell them the
podcast.
banana story?
No, I don't.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
We are 9 months post D-Day. I have forgiven my husband for his infidelity, and we are working to rebuild our marriage with God in control. My question is, how am I supposed to forgive the affair partner? She was a coworker of his that pretended to be my friend. When I see her drive through town or even thought of her, the thought of her infuriates me, and I begin playing in my mind what I would say to her if I ran into her, and it is not good. God commands forgiveness, but I'm struggling with this one. Please help me. You know what I love about the summer short questions that we've chosen so far and the ones that we have ready to go is I have heard that question numerous times. It's not like that any of our questions have been, oh, maybe we should just reach out to that person and answer individually. Like this is across the board some really good questions. So talk about that. You're the one that had to forgive.
Yeah, that was this is a deep one and a heavy one in some ways. I do know this. I do know that forgiveness is one of those things that I really had to learn a lot about forgiveness. And there's a book that I read, and I recommend this book to lots and lots of people. It's called Forgiving What You'll Never Forget. There's one that's a very similar title by Lisa Turkhurst, which also is a good book. But this book that I'm referring to is written by Dr. David Stoop, and it is very, very short. You could literally read it sitting in one sitting, and you can get it from Amazon for like $5. It's very cheap, but Forgiving What You'll Never Forget. It used to be called Forgiving the Unforgivable, so it has an older title to it.
And I think Lisa Turkhurst is Forgiving What You Can't Forget.
Yeah, it's very similar. But anyway, Dr. David Stoop. This particular book helped me more than any of the books on forgiveness. It told, it really spelled out and explained what forgiveness is and what it is not. And I think that was a big, big part of it for me, was learning kind of the myths of forgiveness. And I think that one day, when we finish our first book, which we have a date set for when we're writing that, by the way. But after we finish our first book, I think at some point, forgiveness is going to be one that I want to dive into even more, because people want to know so bad, like, what does it actually mean? How do I forgive my spouse? But then on top of that, you've got all these other layers. It's like an onion. You're just peeling these onions. There's other people that have to be forgiven, because, like this listener said, we're commanded to forgive. That's what Jesus said to do. And, if we are expected to be forgiven by Jesus, then we're commanded to forgive other people. Right. Now, I know that along with that, the forgiveness is there. It is a moment in time. You come to this realization where you say, I am going to release the other person. I am going to forgive the other person. This could be with your spouse. This could be with the other the other partner of the infidelity. And but you're basically saying, I release them, and I'm not going to seek revenge, and I'm not going to hold this over them anymore. Now, for me, that's the simplest way of saying that's what just the bottom line of forgiveness is. Now, obviously, when it comes to your spouse, then you start the process of reconciliation. And along with that, forgiveness is a process, and it's also waking up every day and choosing forgiveness again that day. And so it is a moment in time where you release them and say, I'm not letting this person hold me in bondage because I won't forgive them. And so that's the big part of it. But here's what I think people get a little bit confused about. It does not mean that a relationship has to be restored. There does not have to be reconciliation when you forgive somebody. And so when you're thinking about this other person, you can release them. You can not hold it over their head. You can not want revenge, all of those things. And still, I'm just going to say it this way, and still not like that person. You don't have to like that person. And, you know, I have experienced this, and I have had to experience forgiveness of someone that you betrayed me with. And so, you know, there's never been a time in that process where I've thought, we need to have a relationship. Now, it may happen in some cases, and I'm not saying we're not even going to go there, because there are some great stories that we've heard and we know of, but for us, we knew that it wouldn't even be healthy. And so, you know, I don't have hard, or, you know, evil thoughts or bad thoughts. I did for a long time.
And that's the part I wanted you to address. Next is where she asked, I rehearse what I would say in my head if I saw her, and it's not good.
Yeah. Well,
so how do you free yourself from that?
Yeah, and I think that, you know, maybe it's somewhat therapeutic to have that conversation in your head, but really then I love your mentor always says, then what? You know, you play something out in your mind, and then you take the next step by saying, well, then what? So, like, what good does that do? You know? Right. And so for me, it was always, I am going to avoid any confrontation, any communication, any type. We were not going to run into each other, because I would avoid it at all costs, because I was the same way. Like I know that my flesh could come out in that moment and say some things that I would probably regret, and I certainly wouldn't want anybody else around to hear it. And so to just know, like, these are things that I would want to say to that person, but if I get anywhere close, I am removing myself from the situation. And so, you know, just to be the surface level of how do you go about forgiving? Well, you have to get there, and you have to really ask God to help you. But I just think it's so important to realize and remember, and you've probably heard this before, but choosing to not forgive somebody is like, you may have heard this, but it's like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. And so, you know, if you think about that, just how the bondage, you're allowing that person to hold you captive and have power over you. And for me, that was one of the big things where I was like, no, I mean, this person has done enough damage in my life, and they are not going to have my spirit. They are not going to they're not going to be able to hold me captive and leave me in bondage where I can say, oh, well, now they really have power over me because I can't even stop thinking about it.
That's
and
right.
so it's just releasing it. And I think that's the big part about forgiveness is release it and let it go, because when you do, you're winning. Like, you're winning, because if you don't let it go, they are always winning over and over and over
That's
again.
Good. That's good. And don't you think that it's a choice to do? Like, sometimes I feel like people are waiting until they feel like forgiving them. And you may not ever feel like it, but you choose and you take steps of obedience to do that. And then it kind of.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely a choice, because even today, not today, like this specific day. I'm just meaning today in general,
14 years
14
later.
years later.
Almost.
Oh man, I can think about it and I can get really angry and really mad, because it is the deepest hurt that and someone caused that. And I can get really angry about it. I could get angry at you if I allowed that.
Sure.
And then I just think, I'm not going to let that person have any amount of space in my head. They don't deserve that. They don't deserve to occupy my thoughts and my emotions and my feelings. And so,
then change how you feel about me and your family and your relationship with the Lord. Well, I mean, it can taint everything.
And like, I don't even want somebody to be the cause of me to have a bad day. Like, I don't want anybody to have that power over me. People can do things to ruin your day or make you have a bad day, but ultimately you're choosing. I mean, you choose how you're going to let that affect you. Not just in a situation like this, but just in general. And so I just don't like for people to have that much power over me. And so I'm going to choose joy over and over again, and I'm going to choose to not let you into my headspace.
Me?
Yeah, I ain't letting you in either. I ain't letting you in. Well, I mean, you have a different perspective of this, because, I mean, just to throw it out there, you are the other woman to somebody.
It's hard. Yeah, that's
you
hard.
know.
That's
I mean, it's just reality of it. Yeah. I mean, we talk real talk on here, but you're the person that this lady is talking about.
Yeah. Well, not specifically.
No, you're not. You're not. No.
But yeah, I mean, look, I mean, real talk. When I got this, when we got this summer short question and I read it, you know, of course, I'm like, oh, Rusty's going to handle this one great. But then I start thinking, what is my role in this? And I started, you know, putting myself in her story to try to, you know, how would I respond to this? And it's a realization every time where, you know, she's talking about, oh, this is what I'd say and this is what I'd want to do. And in reality is I'm that person for somebody else. And that's hard. Because I know they don't care for me. I mean, that's fine. But yet I'm like, oh, I would never, you know, desire a relationship with that person, or, you know, I'm not hoping that we can be friends again. Like, it's none of that. It's just when you think about the other woman, you also have to know that that person is loved by God as well. Like, I am still a daughter of the King that my Heavenly Father desires to have a relationship with. And so even if you don't like that other person, God is still after their heart too. He's still wanting to work in their lives and in their life. And if you are, you know, constantly thinking bad about them or hoping, you know, ill will for them, or, you know, you might want to run over them with the bus. Like, I get it. But also acknowledging that that person is still just as precious to our Heavenly Father. And so, you know, you may not be in a spot where you can pray and say, God, I release them to you, because I can't do anything for them or in their life. And so in releasing them, in choosing to forgive that person, I'm releasing them to you. And that other person may not be walking with the Lord. They may not have had a conversion experience like I did. But it's also a place that you just have to be really careful in wanting something bad to happen to that person, or, you know, I wish she would get what's coming, because you don't know what's going on in their life either. And so I think that's all just, and it's not a lesson to learn, or it's just a different perspective. It's, even though in this story and lots of stories out there, there's people who are like, the other woman, she's such a this and a that and a this. And I hear those words a lot. I hear them a lot, and they're hard to hear every time, because I just start thinking, there's somebody who definitely said that about me. And I just feel like there's, like you said, my favorite part is, just because there's forgiveness doesn't mean there has to be reconciliation with the other person. With your spouse, that's what your goal is if you're fighting for your marriage. But it doesn't have to be there with the other person. But you have to get to a place in your heart where you forgive. It's a daily choice. It's a daily choice. And then just realizing that they're a child of God too, and releasing them to Him.
Yeah, and I think too, when you are looking at your spouse, and in our case, and I get to see the difference that you are and who you are today as opposed to 14 years ago, and the other spouse that thinks obviously probably not good thoughts about you, they don't get to see that. And in the same way, I can only hope and pray that the other marriage is healthy, and that they're making a difference in their own world and what they're doing.
That's right.
Because why not? Why? And I think that's where you know that forgiveness has really happened.
Right.
It's not like, I hope this person dies a slow death and is tortured, that kind. It's not that. It's like, why would I do that? Because I've seen what can happen in your life. So why can't it happen in we want this for every marriage.
Right.
So why would we not want that for that marriage too?
That's right.
And, it's still hard, because it's hard to even say those words. And it's kind of hard to say those words because, I don't even like thinking about, the other people.
Right.
It's just not.
And that's why I use the word release. Like, you're just releasing them and saying, God, have your way in their life.
Yeah, and I don't say this. I don't want to say this flippantly or make it sound like, but it's almost like you almost have to get to this place where I don't care.
Yeah,
and it's not, I don't care about them, but it's like, I don't need to go on social media and find out what's happening in their lives because I'm angry, or it's
right.
like, it just needs to be this. I don't care. That's not my job. It's not my responsibility. I'm leaving that up to God. And so, God cares. So I don't have to.
That's right.
And
they're not your responsibility.
They're not my responsibility. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I hope that answered her question.
Yeah, I do too. I think so. We probably talked a little bit more, but we're getting ready to write our second book already. All right. Hey, thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next time on the Redeemed Marriage Podcast.
Peace.
Peace.